Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video I will cover how to paint watercolor eye with eyeshadows. My name is Irina K and I'm an artist and art educator, and I'm sharing my drawing skills on this channel, so feel free to subscribe, like, and leave any comments and questions if you have any. I started to work with the most colorful part of the eye, the shade on the upper lid, and I'm working with a bigger size brush to create the main shape. And while the surface is still wet, I'm adding some shades to emphasize 3D effect of the upper eyelid. I add a couple of details inside of the eye, especially a little bit light shade that I'm gonna use then to draw eyelashes and that shade that created on the eye under the eyelashes. As you noticed, I do not use any pencil sketch and work directly with brush. So what helps me to see the main shape is sometimes I start to work with a lighter, more transparent paint, and then depends on the area, I continue with a bit more intense shades and colors. Like in this case, for example, I shaped iris first with more transparent color and then colored it with more visible greenish color, and the same when I'm working on the shades on lower eyelid. The point is that I'm trying to combine eyelashes into some shape that every eyelash is not separated from another one. And while I see that paint is getting drier, I can start to add next layer on it, because I don't want the darker color, for example, for the pupil or for the eyeliner to be blurry or mix with paint that is still wet. Uh, I usually make sure that surface already got dry, so then I could operate with my smaller size brush to create specific rhythm for eyelashes. If you do some observation before you start to work on eyelashes, you will notice that yeah, there is a special rhythm, that some of them stick together, um, some of them a little thicker, a little thinner, a little more curved, a little shorter, a little longer. So that's what you all want to use for your own drawing to make eyelashes look more realistic, that they're curved, and sometimes we even could see eyelashes not only above the eyelid but a little bit under. That creates really interesting rhythm and shades around the eye. And some parts, like for example that one that I work now, still a little bit wet, and I use it to kind of combine eyelashes together in a stain, so they are not all separated. I also work with a lighter tone of color, as I want some eyelashes look not that defined as others. And I always can create a second layer over it to emphasize some other eyelashes, making them darker or um, a little bit better visible. I like to make brush a little bit drier, because I noticed then more thick paint, and with the dry brush it is easy to create specific brush stroke that you want, especially if you work on something that is so thin and tiny and so detailed as eyelashes. And well, yeah, sometimes I don't like some parts that I draw, and I use flat brush to wash out a little bit of paint and yeah, kind of fix my mistake, which I found it so fascinating that you still can find some tricks working with watercolor to remove some paint and to fix some small parts. And working on the eyebrow, I want to focus that I will not separate every single hair, and they will still be together, creating some nice shape that I like. So I'm working here with a little bit more transparent paint, with a smaller brush that gives me um, better ways to operate, and using the tip of the brush, making some thinner outlines. And I'm using also wet surface, so I'm working on the wet, adding a slightly different colors. You notice I add, for example, in the beginning, and now I'm adding a little bit of bluish, some color that is connecting with the colorful part of the eye. And at the same moment, because the surface was wet, so adding a little bit of bluish, making color a little bit more neutral. And then once the main shape of the eyebrow got dry, I can work over it with the brush and add in some smaller details. At the same time, I don't want to overwork it, so I'm just adding a couple of more, and we'll combine them also together. Thank you for watching my video. Stay in touch, and I'm wishing you an artful day. See you next time, guys. Bye.